everyone, this is Heidi, and I'm joining you today with what I'm calling a Color Pop Valentine. So I'm starting off with a piece of 8.5 by 11 cardstock, and I'm going to cut it at 4.5 inches vertically and 9 1/16 inches horizontally, so that this will create a square note card. And I'm going to go ahead and score it down the middle at 4.5. And this will be my base for all of my die cutting. And I'm going to be using the largest square from the Wonky Wavy Stitched Square dies. And I'm going to cut that into a piece of dark gray cardstock. And this will be the main panel on the front of my note card. And I love a really dark gray, like almost like a charcoal gray with a lot of bright colors on top of it. I think it looks great together. So for the hearts, I'm using the Kat Scrappiness double stitched heart dies, and I'm using the largest one to cut a purple heart. And the cardstock I'm using is from Gina K's Island Dream. It's this really pretty pack of bright cardstock. It has pink, purple, lime green. It's just a really pretty cardstock pack, and I've used it a lot. Then for the last heart, I'm going to use this as a shaker, and I'm cutting a frame out of the two smaller hearts in the set, and I'm just going to make a little frame that I'm going to create a little shaker heart from. So I'm going to take the frame and a little piece of acetate, and I'm just going to glue the acetate onto the back of the heart frame. And I'm just using some tape runner to do this. And I just want to make sure I get it all covering the frame completely so that there are no gaps. And then I'm just going to put the heart on top of the acetate, and then I'm just going to cut around the plastic to cut any excess off. And there's my shaker window. And next up, I'm going to take the pink heart that I cut out, and I'm going to use this for the back of the shaker. And I'm using some rock candy sequins from Kat Scrappiness. And I'm going to take a strip of foam tape, and I'm just going to cut it in half. And then before I put it on to the back of the heart, I'm going to peel off the backing of the foam tape. And this just helps me to kind of get it right around the heart and kind of bend it and move it so that it fits around the shape of the heart easier. It's easier when you pull the backing off ahead of time. So the shaker is all set, and I'm just going to put a few sequins on the top of this pink heart. Like I said, I'm using rock candy from Kat Scrappiness. Really pretty mix of bright pinks and lime greens. And there's some of those cute little hexagon shapes in there too. Those are in a bright blue color. And then I'm just going to place the shaker window over the heart. And that's all set. And then next I'm just going to assemble all of the layers on the front of the card. So I'm using this white note card as the main base, just so that I can get a little bit of a band of white around the gray. This just kind of keeps all the bright colors and the gray from being too heavy on the card. I think the little bit of white just kind of brightens everything up. So next I'm doing the purple heart, the bottom layer. And I'm just going to adhere that flat on top of the front of the gray. And then I'm also just going to use some foam tape to attach the shaker heart to the top of the purple heart. And I just love the way these colors look against the dark gray. I've made cards before using dark gray and yellow too, so citrus colors look really pretty too, if that's something that you'd want to try. So next for the sentiment, I'm using a sentiment from Lawn Fawn's new Sweet Friends stamp set. And I cut a piece of cardstock 4.5 inches long and stamped the sentiment onto it with some clear embossing powder. And I used Versamark ink to stamp the sentiment so that the clear embossing powder would melt over the top and just make a nice shiny look to the sentiment. It just kind of makes it pop out a little bit more. And then I'm just trimming it down to a little bit of a strip, and that little wire guide on the trimmer really helps to get the perfect strip size. And then I'm just kind of lining it up along the heart, and I'm adding just some regular tape runner to the back of the sentiment strip, and I'm just going to adhere that right along the middle of the heart. So lots of layers, lots of color. Oh, and I'm also going to add some Nuvo drops just to kind of highlight the sentiment a little bit. And I'm just kind of scattering them around, and you can see I kind of go in a triangle pattern. And I'm doing the purple, and then I'm going to add a little bit of white too, because I really like this gloss white color. And I'm just doing I do a little test first on a scrap piece of paper just to make sure there's nothing clogging. But these Nuvo drops actually, they really, they come out really easily, and they always look like a perfect little bead. So I really like the way that turned out. So that's the card for today. A nice bright Valentine. And I will have all the products linked over at the Kat Scrappiness blog for easy shopping. And I thank you so much for joining me today, and I'll see you next time.